I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin. Today I'm once more joined by Michael. We're going to have a look at the market as of today. And I can tell you one thing, actually, which is exciting. It is not great. It is not great. What has happened? It is bloody.
Down bloody. It's bloody, yeah.
Yeah, Bitcoin leading basically the negativity. It was pretty good, yeah. Like what we looked at yesterday. Yesterday, I think when we shut that recording, the cap, it was like 116, 115, and you could see overnight, yeah, look at that, staggering down. But look at the volume as well, 90 billion. That's crazy. Look, you see, like when it's stable, it's like 50 to 60. So that obviously creates some volatility, not great, and the market is reacting to that, right? As we can see, everything is kind of down in the last 24 hours between that 1 and 5% range. So Ethereum took the hardest hit, pretty stable, actually, still for comparison's sake, 3.5K. 3%, 3%, 3.5% hyperliquid. Yeah, it's kind of all in a similar pattern. Litecoin. I can't even imagine that this shit is still around. I don't even know what they're doing. I think it's just the whole mining
Yeah, I
thing.
was looking at it earlier today. I was looking at Pi. I'm so curious because we were talking about meme land yesterday, and Pi has got a or meme land's done something similar as the Pi with the you can play the app, you can play the game on meme land, and then you get the tokens, but you can't actually withdraw or sell the tokens, so it's pointless. And Pi has the same system. You remember from back in the days, you had the Pi app in your
Yeah,
passport.
yeah. And it sounded like a massive MLL Ponzi.
Yeah, yeah, but it's got I don't know where this market cap comes from because the token. You know, if you look at the feedback, nobody can sell the tokens. Nobody knows what to do with it. But suddenly they're sitting comfortably at the
Well, the
building.
thing is, it is verified as well on chain. So it's also a weird explorer. Maybe it's on their own chain, mindpi.com. So I just mined, and then I mean, there's still significant tradable volume behind it, but yeah, it's indeed kind of a weird one with a 35 billion FDV. Probably just has to do with the supply that they attached to it. Which supply did they attach? The 100 billion, right? 100 billion, then this price, yeah, that's what you get. Some inflation. To be fair, these type of, let's say, true classic crypto projects, not too interested. What I am interested in, Pachi Ping is holding up, I would say,
Yeah, it's holding
pretty
strong.
well
Yeah.
compared to the rest of things. So, I mean, I think at 32, I'll snag up some more, but I got to be patient because I already have so much. Don't want to, overexpose myself. But yeah, it's not looking that great. Now, I heard Trump is talking about moving nuclear submarines and this and that. That's not really helping, the fear in the market. But if we're looking at the last 30 days, we went from greed last night into the neutral area. So we're no longer in greed. And you can see here we touched that extreme greed. Um, so I don't know what the gray pattern exactly is compared to the flow. Oh, it's the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin price up. Okay, so it's not that it was just greed. It never touched anywhere near extreme greed, but now we're back to neutral because of that dump. And we spoke about it, right? It's like not too significant in terms of the changes that are occurring, but at the same time, people are fearful.
Couple days back to back causes the fear as well. Of course, in crypto, a 4, 5, 6% drop is fairly normal. But if it happens 3 days in a row, people start questioning, people start wondering, and then yeah, Trump doesn't help.
Doesn't help at all. Like the altcoin season line is pretty stable, right? Went from like what's it here, 44 to 36, not too significant, but that's because I would assume the Bitcoin dominance has gone up, although Bitcoin price down. So this is 61.4.
Bitcoin has
Yeah,
been very
see,
dominant for
see.
a
So
while.
the Bitcoin dominance has been climbing again. So every single time when that Bitcoin dominance goes down, the altcoin season goes back up. It's like quite easy to grasp. But look at this. So last month, 64.92. last week 60.11.6, and this was because of Ethereum pumping,
Yeah,
right? You can see the underlying altcoins then following with 1% total. And 1% total, like think about it like this: total market cap 3.69. So at that point, you're adding like 100 billion to the market. Pretty crazy, no? 10 billion in the day. And then here
what's
you have a slight
interesting is
appreciation.
if you look at the Bitcoin dominance from the last bull run, the significance, the changes, the significant changes that it suddenly makes when everything out of nowhere blows out, you can tell that it's not nearly close to that yet.
Yeah, so the blow up was here, this point, and the Bitcoin dominance was 44. If we go to 2017, again, Bitcoin dominance, it was this drop basically from here to
Out of
here,
nowhere.
again, reached 44. Now we're still dealing. So every single time that you see significant pumps, this was, yeah, 21, yeah. So 2017, 21. So we're still way too high
Mm.
for a real all season to start. But this was 23, right? Like it's just linearly. This was obviously the dominance comes from the pump in Bitcoin. So that would have to be parallel from October 23. And I do think that, damn, it's a long chart, eh? Now, been doing this too long. Yeah. See? October 23, linear upward from there. So that's the nice thing about the numbers. The numbers don't lie,
Yeah.
right? Like statistically, you can just look at it and it just makes sense. Now,
It's gonna
in
be
other
interesting to see
news,
how that's gonna go this time,
huh?
considering all the institutions are buying up Bitcoin, of course, this time to see what the
Yeah, but look at the amount of money that's going through it. Absolutely insane. Like, I'm not your favorite homeschool trader, but just looking at it, it's just a matter of time. It's just a waiting game, and that's why I've been here waiting for 8 years, right? And it's been great so far, but it's going to get even better.
yeah.
Look at what Pump Fund, which this is like a weird chart that I'm looking at the moment. I don't mind looking at this chart, but this is the DAX through CoinMarketCap. Okay, that's interesting. How do I change the interval ratio on the candles? They have all the normally it's like somewhere here now. Because these are, what are they? 1 minute charts, 1 hour charts. Oh, I can just zoom out like that. Okay, perfect. So what was interesting is basically you had this like downward pattern 2423, and then you see these significant buys. You see these bang one candle, and they're 1 hour candles. So within 1 hour, the price went from 2.5 to 3 within, well, this is obviously like 10 hours or something, but it went from 2.2 to 2.9, and here again 2.7 in 1.5 hours to 3.2. So maybe that's the buyback program that they're running. I know a lot of that money, I mean, fuck it, they raised fucking 600 billion. They can flush some money back into that chart, but at least it's kind of, if you zoom out, like, don't zoom out like this, right? But zoom out like in the last week's pattern, it seems a little bit stable, like with ups and downs. You know what I actually also looked at the other day, which I thought was interesting. Neo Tokyo Bytes.
Oh, hold on.
So yeah, I was still looking at the bytes because I was like, look at that. So this is obviously the bridge contract out of 23, so it doesn't have the full history, but yeah, that's not looking good compared to. I remember when I
They
used to
were at
buy like,
$400 at one point.
yeah, but that's like 21 bull run. I think it averaged out like $60, yeah, something. Like, I remember that we were talking about like the Byte Farm buying the Citizens. Like, it was pretty good while it lasted.
Yeah.
Here you have a significant pump, but during this period it was kind of funny because I remember buying like, let's say, $10,000 worth at, let's say, $3. It pumped to $5, dump it again, and there's very little liquidity. So it's quite volatile,
Mm.
that chart, which makes it kind of fun. But you can see from here, so this has been February, it's kind of been dead. Like there was like a slight pump, probably when Becker mentioned it in the video or something. And other than that, yeah, it goes pretty dead pretty quickly again. which I would say is unfortunate because that is
It's
in
unfortunate but expected, I think, because the way back
well,
everything
there's nothing to it now. At the end
yeah,
of the day, like they have little to no true utility.
no. Like the whole Neo Tokyo community is a network to get into to have access to, company
Well,
owned
it's time for me to leave the network, I guess. If somebody wants to buy my citizen for a nut floor price, then I'm ready to bounce. No, I mean, that shit was good in 21. I've outgrown it.
I
I got
think
all the
everyone is
connections
right now.
already. Yeah, so there's no need really. But I still see, man, the same people still chatting there every day. I don't know, sometimes I read it like once a week. I check it, just scroll through the chat, but I don't really have the ambition to connect with all these people. And most of them, the qualities are just like hobby projects.
Yeah.
And I respect it. I respect it. It's just not for me, to basically be involved like hands on all that. But if it works for them, it works for them. It's also an interesting factor here is the pattern of the CoinMarketCap 100, right? The growth, relatively speaking, and how they interact with one another. And you can see that obviously the indicator of where Bitcoin moves, the rest flows. It gives like a quite a, I don't know, awkward signal that the market is still so dependent on what Bitcoin does
Hmm.
overall, right? Whatever Bitcoin does, we'll see some benefit or not benefit. Look, ETH net inflow, so a ton of outflow on the ETFs, Bitcoin majority. Then Ethereum would be like
They've
150.
had consistent inflows for a little bit now, though, until
Yeah, yeah. Look at the inflow.
yeah,
So
right.
like one year, very significant inflow here, two billion, right? Uh, and here 1.3 billion. So the net outflow is almost nothing, right? Out of ETH. But if you look, so hang on, what was it here? Weakest month, March, with an outflow of 400 mil, which was here, 400 million outflow. Strongest month, July, which is basically last month, 4.8 billion inflow. Fucking hell. Okay, so that's good. Then Bitcoin, weakest month, February, 3.4 billion out. Strongest month, November 24, 6.6 billion inflow. Well, this month thus far, which has just started, basically almost a billion already outflow, which is like an interesting indicator. But if you look
Probably
at
will
the
around, I
look
don't
at the
know.
assets under management, 151 billion. Yeah. If you look at it here, 18 billion. Okay, so Bitcoin definitely the strong leader. 4.3% relative to market cap, and this was 6%, 6.7. So there's tons of room. You can see the funds. Coin market cap is doing a good job tracking all that shit, though. To be
Yeah.
fair, like that is, it's going a lot more analytical and a lot less just like, hey guys, this is just the some micro value that we have. Just check the price and that's it. This is the stuff that I actually like, that I enjoy looking at to see. All right, here we go. All time to see where, but are they tracking it correctly or no? Yeah, here they go. iShares Bitcoin Trust net fee 1.5%. Damn. Wait, is that the highest fee? 1.5%? Yeah. Right. Fuck. They're like fucking butt fucking all their investors, bro. 1.5%. Oh, good for them. The percentage by which it's your share price market exceeds the okay. A little premium on top. Right. This is some Web 2 to Web 3 overflow patterns. And it's looking real good. It's looking really good. Linear upward trends, slow and steady, with billions at a time, right? But we're talking now about almost a $4 trillion market. So, yeah, that's what we basically are looking for to see where the opportunities are. Something else that I found this morning, something quite interesting before I texted you today. Look at this. So if we go to the collections for the NFTs, you see Bored Yacht Club is down 5%.
Yeah, well,
Pudgies, but Pudgies went down hard, yeah, to like 12 point something.
hmm.
Let me, not that I was tempted, I wasn't, but here, 12.7. You saw that? Here, 12.7. Was this 20 hours ago? 15. You
That would have
see?
been a
So,
one desperate person that just undercut
no,
it.
like 13.4, 13.4, 13.9, 33, right?
12.7,
And
12.8 unnecessary, but still.
1306, but the
Um,
top offer is 3005. And you see it's all going into the bits, 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 bits. What's BAF? Is it abstract ETH? Oh, it's Blur ETH from the bidding pool. Web3 is Ponzi. Okay. So, yeah, this is just people throwing it into the bids, basically, their NFTs for 1305. Well, I think you can make it quick to ETH, um, which how much is like 7K?
should be right now. Where they're looking at the market right now, looking at the tokens, looking at Penju token, that should be pretty. That should go back to 15 ETH fairly quickly.
Would be easy money.
Mm.
But that's not what I wanted to say. So CryptoPunks 55. Okay. So the most interesting thing is this. Look at this. Moonbirds, 0.4% only down. Just 0.4%. So there's something to it, obviously. Yeah, there is something to it because if you look, so this is what I was looking for the other day. Look, it's right
Yeah,
here now.
yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. So if you look at the floor price, yeah, 1 year. Look,
Wow.
you see what happened?
Mm.
So this happened like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, zero point 0.6. Zero point 0.6 all the way to 2.5. It's now sitting at 2. How is it still on this level? Right now, I know the acquisition happened, I know, but they waited a long time and nothing really has changed. So for the price to 3.5x appreciate, unlikely, right? So it's now owned by Orange Cap Games, who have some other shit as well. The founder is quite vocal on Twitter, funny guy, seems reasonable. I like what he's trying to do, but concrete plans, that is what I would look forward to. On all the other stuff, kind of the pattern is similar. Whoa, look at this, minus 30, minus 20, like heavy hits, 4, 2.9, 4.6. It's all kind of similar. 2.5, zero point 0.9 for CloneX. I don't get why people still buy that CloneX artifact shit after it rocked. I mean, they're saying maybe for the culture.
Yeah, they're like trying to revisit the situation or to revisit the revive.
Oh, look at this, bro. The ketogenesis. That's also not good. Look at that. Remember before the airdrop, 10 ETH the flow. Now zero point 0.7. Look at that. Just a slow bleed out. Because it has no utility, I believe. It's
Buy the
just, it
rumor,
was
tell the
just,
news.
it was just, yeah, just for the tokens. But same with Asuki, though. I made a good
That
money
happened with
with that
so many.
Asuki.
It happened with that happened with my mutant ape too. I sold my mutant ape when the announcement came from the token drop. I sold it just before, and I made more money by selling it from the peak than I would have had from the airdrop.
For, yeah,
Same
for the other. Look at this, bro. 12 ETH flow, yeah? Bang. This was also the
token.
token claim. I did well though. I did the gacha balls. I had like I don't know. I did the emblems, the collecting of the emblems. But somebody told me about it like in November, December, early December last year, and then I think the TGE was something in February or something for anime. Um, but yeah, that token is also. I dumped everything straight away. No, yeah, February. No prisoners, bro. So this is the thing. That's actually quite an interesting story. Yeah, listen to this. So what happened? I don't know if it's interesting, but I think it's interesting. So what happened was, which blockchain was it on again? It was maybe you could do it on Eve, but you had to go through like layer zero to claim it. So you got like a layer zero interface, yeah, and then everybody was like going crazy, like oh the gas and transactions are processing this and that. So the whole thing congested. Basically, nobody could claim. Yeah, and the trading was already open for like 20 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, we're working on a classic crypto BS." right, for a lunch. And then what happened was I was like, "Man, fuck it, let me cancel my transaction, let me put it again, but let me just do 10x the gas." Right? So I was like, let me just pay zero point 0.1 ETH worth of gas because I'm claiming fucking 80 grand worth of tokens. Yeah. Bruh, one person said like, "Oh, what the fuck? I got my tokens. I just upped the gas." I check, it just said loading, but it's moving all of a sudden. Bang! I got my tokens. I sell a bra straight at the top, the first red candle, straight in that first red candle, and then I keep telling all my boys like, "Look, look, look! You need to up the gas, up the gas. How do I up the gas?" I'm like, "Bruh, this is your punishment. If you don't even know how to manually up the gas, then should have known better. Now you deserve to get wrecked." And they got hammered, right, bro? That was a red candle, red candle, red candle. Just like it just dropped 80% worth of value, like that. Yeah, that
30
was good.
seconds, 1 minute too late.
But I was sweating, I was tripping because I was right in it, and I dumped these tokens, right? I blasted them down into the chart, and then I was like, okay, now dump these NFTs, dump these NFTs. So just dump all these NFTs. Yeah, I just accepted the bits on Blur. Yeah, that's funny, bro. Like in seconds, yeah, you could claim. So what happened was the order was like this: you could submit your transaction on chain, yeah, and then basically you could immediately dump the NFT while the transaction for the claim you could check on chain that was disconnected the NFT from the tokens. Yeah. But because of all the issues, I saw like some of them were like buggy and they got bought and then the other person got the tokens, but it was messy. So yeah, I waited until I had the tokens until to sell the NFTs and I sold them for like only like 2.5 ETH, kind of where they are right now. Like maybe one for 4 ETH, the other one for 2.5. The floor right now is 2. Can you imagine? It gets absolutely annihilated, or like 3.5 ETH. I can't even remember. But yeah, it was.
No, it's funny. Back in the day, or still to this day, they always say that the best strategy is just to hold. But it really does depend on what it is that you do and what it is that you into. I guess if you hold Bitcoin, if you hold Ethereum, you hold the bigger layer ones. If you just hold on the long run for years and years and years to come, sure, maybe. But overall in crypto, majority of the time, you're better off just selling it right at the start when you know you get your profit, collect your cash, and go on to the next. Collect your cash and go on to the next.
Yeah. Well,
Most
that depends on what it is really. Like if it's consumer goods like a Suki, like pudgy penguins right now big, yeah, but everybody's chasing it abstract. So what's going to happen with the pudgy penguins after that abstract blockchain is launched with their token? The chain
who
is
knows?
live.
Go down.
It's kind of the pattern, right? I mean, they could be the one that fixes it, but what are these odds?
No.
What are these odds? And um, that's where I agree with what you're saying. It's very likely that it's not the case, right? And in that case, yeah, you get fucking wrecked. It is what it is. But good motivational words for people to sit on for the rest of the day while we also take some time to enjoy the weekend. Michael, thank you so much for being here once more. We will
Good to
see
see you.
everybody tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Enjoy your weekend.